First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you very much for joining us. We are live here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, as we are every weekday, starting around 1 p.m. Pacific. And thank you for being here with us. I say thank you a lot because I mean it. But don't forget, you can always check out these episodes afterward if you're not watching live on the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel, KPTV.com, or the Fox 12 Oregon app. We are discussing a movie right now, Alien Romulus, and in particular, one person or thing that is the Xenomorph and the actor behind it. Yes, the Xenomorph in Alien Romulus has an actual person in a suit portraying that iconic character throughout the movie, and we got to speak to that person. We got to speak to Trevor Newlin, who is the actor who plays the Xenomorph. He was able to sit down with us for a little while earlier today and discuss this. And one of the fun things about this show is we get to have the time to do that, and really appreciate him joining us. We're going to go through part of his career, how he got into that role. I will say I got pretty excited there at one point. I may have flubbed a few things in this interview. Just know, I'm a nerd. This stuff's pretty entertaining to me. So this is real. And let's go ahead and jump right into it, though. Here it is, Trevor Newlin, the actor behind the Xenomorph. We've all been very excited to talk to you about what you do, about your career, about the movies and all of that. But I think, something we always like to do here is find out how somebody got to where they are and a little bit of the backstory on that. And, maybe you can give us just the synopsis of that, of how you ended up inside a Xenomorph suit.
So
doing that as a career.
For sure. Yeah. So I came from a theater background originally, back in high school, did theater. From there, I went to college, did theater, and I was like, I always wanted to get into like radio and voiceover, right? And things like that. So I moved to Los Angeles, where everybody goes for all those types of things. And it was my senior year of film school out here. And one of my teachers was like, oh, hey, you have a similar build to Doug Jones. And I was like, Doug Jones? Like, I don't know that name. But then I realized, oh, yeah, Shape of Water, Pan's Labyrinth, in Star Trek. The guy in the suits, right? He's the guy you don't see, but he's in all those iconic characters, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll look into that type of thing. So I started with first off, I met Doug, sweetest individual on this planet. Like, everyone will say that, but it is truly like he is the sweetest person in the world. He gave me some tips. I had nothing under my belt at that point in time. So I decided to get into like Halloween Horror Nights, right? Which is, popping out, scaring people. But I got to know a lot of makeup artists there. And they kind of were, they were like, oh, you have a really cool build for, creature work and stuff like that. So from there, I kind of got into prosthetics and doing little commercials here and there. And then I got into background acting, and that's where kind of Alien kind of all connects. So I was doing background acting, and I got a thing about like a show, and it was like, if you fit the costume, you'll do it. And that show ended up being season 2 of The Mandalorian for Star Wars. And it was a Wookiee suit.
Wait, is that the picture that we have here?
No, that's the
Yeti.
That's
the
so
Yeti.
That comes after. Yeah, that comes.
We'll
after.
come back. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
My
for
bad.
Sure. No, you're good. You're good.
Everybody in the comments is like, that guy's an idiot. So sorry, I just got really excited when you said that. So it was for the Mandalorian to be a Wookiee in the Mandalorian.
Yes, yeah. So it was background.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was background, and that was where I met Legacy Effects. And so Legacy Effects, if you don't know, like they've done things for Avatar, for Marvel, for DC, for Jurassic Park, the Alien film that just came out, right? Guardians of the Galaxy, all these type of things. I mean, you name an iconic franchise, they probably had a hand in it at some point, right? So I meet them, and I get, they get my information, and I go about my life. 3 years later, I get a phone call from one of the owners, Alan at Legacy. He's like, hey, we have a opening for a commercial tomorrow, a national commercial. Are you available? And of course I say yes. And that commercial ended up being the Yeti, which you just showed on screen, which was a national commercial for Amazon for Black Friday that aired here in the States and then also worldwide. And then the commercial did so well over in Europe and everything that we shot another one of those the year after in Argentina.
Wow.
So yeah, so I met Legacy through Star Wars, and then after I did this commercial, they reached out. They were like, "Hey, we have this project. We'll kind of see what happens." And that project ended up being Alien Romulus. And then I found out I was going to be in the Xenomorph suit, and the rest, my mind was blown, and the rest is history. And so that's the quick synopsis of how we got from theater, from on stage to on screen.
Yeah, I mean, all of that's such an interesting journey there to even get to one of those points. I mean, one thing that you pointed out talking about Doug Jones, I always love that when you meet somebody, who does so many things, and you're like, okay, are they going to be a nice person in real life? Because sometimes people aren't, but to find out that he really is, as you said, just the nicest dude.
Well, yeah, and he was also coming off of just Shape of Water, just won Best Picture with Guillermo del Toro, and I was like, I'm a nobody, right? I'm still in college. I have no credits under my name, and he spent 3 hours just sitting and asking me about my life and what I wanted to do, and I was like, wow, that's so cool that somebody at the top is so nice of giving their time and helping those for the future. I think that's such a cool thing.
That really is, and so you're going through that, I don't want to skip over some of the stuff that you just mentioned. So being a Wookiee in the background on Star Wars, like what is that feeling like when you walk out onto the set of The Mandalorian? It could have been like a green screen set. I don't even know.
No, it was the backlot. So it was the fully realized like town, right? And I mean, getting to meet little baby Yoda or Grogu for the first time and knowing about him for a year before anybody else knew about him, was insane. Being super close to him and seeing him up close and then now working with people that make Grogu on Alien and things like that. I mean, that was probably one of the craziest things. Then meeting Jon Favreau was insane. Pedro Pascal, Carl Weathers, who passed away recently, he was directing that episode actually, and I got to talk with him a little bit, and he was also just the kindest human being, such a nice guy.
I mean, for one, how hard was it to keep that secret about Grogu for a year?
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, I that's the thing about what I do, right? I have all these super fun things and I'm just like, I can't tell anybody.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine what the non-disclosure agreement is for something like that.
Oh yeah, there's multiple. There is multiple. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So you've got that, but then also, now knowing, that you have been part of the Star Wars franchise, that you are part of the lore of all that. Like, how does that feel just as an actor, and how does it feel even just as a fan, as a person to know that you?
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is a huge part of my life. Darth Vader is my favorite character in the Star Wars universe, and even though the scene that I was in got cut, they did like a behind the scenes. I think it called like a Disney. What would they call it? Like a documentary or something behind the scenes. And there's a scene of Carl Weathers standing with his iPad, and then I'm in the background. So I did get a shot of me in the suit, which was really cool because you couldn't have cameras or anything.
Right.
But yeah, just being a part of that and spending a week out there and just getting to meet like Legacy Effects and find out what they do and see everything that goes into making these incredible shows that fans love and want to know all about is just it's insane. And walking on an actual a fully realized set that looked like something out of Star Wars was it was out of Star Wars, but it was just was wild.
Man, that's so cool. That's amazing. Well, going back to where we were leading up to for Alien, the Xenomorph, and being that. So how exactly did you find out that you got the role?
So it was a whole process. They brought me in to do some photos just for some other things, and then I kind of get a phone call, and it's like, hey, this might be one of those calls that changes things for you, is what the words were said to me, and then that point,
that's
I pretty much knew. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it was the whole process was incredible, was absolutely incredible. But yeah, so that was kind of how I found out, and then I went into the shop, and I see them starting to make the things, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, like this is real.
And so for when you're filming this, obviously there's some of it that's CGI, some of it is you. So, what is it like on set when you're going into to put on this suit and perform?
So the really cool thing about Fede, and the thing that was really pushed about this film right off the bat, was that it was all real, like it was all practical, right? So like,
it was. There wasn't any. Wow.
No, so like all the sets, I don't know if you've seen the film yet, but all the sets are real. Like you could walk on every single set. There was, all the creatures were real, right? The face huggers, the chest burster, the Xenomorphs. So for the Xenomorphs, it was me in a suit, like your classic, Aliens, all the way up, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. I mean, honestly, franchise, right? With the exception of Prometheus, because there's no
Yeah.
Xeno in Prometheus. But and then there was a animatronic, like a full size animatronic that they would use for certain shots, a puppet that they sometimes would use, and then CGI when they needed it. But
Right.
in reality, Fede did a really good job of taking each element and using it where it made sense to be used, and he still brought in practical effects. There was even
Love it.
CGI in certain scenes, right?
I love it. And so, when you go in there and you put on that suit for the first time, I'm sure a lot of the questions people are going to have is one, how, what does it feel like in that thing? Can you actually move around very well, or is it pretty constricting?
So it's actually pretty. So I'll break down the build of the suit. So basically, it's a morph suit underneath. Yeah, there you go. There's a great shot. So it's kind of like a morph suit underneath, and then it's like a shorts and a long sleeve T-shirt is the arms, and then it's like a scuba suit. So that's kind of tight. Oh, and I also forgot there's a flight harness under there for stunts and things if I needed to do stunts or whatever. And then on top of that is the scuba suit. And then the chest piece goes on, and that kind of like Velcros with the pipes. And then the head and the neck are the last thing to go on. And they would normally just go on set so I could actually see where I was going, or somebody would lead me to where I needed to go.
Could you see anything out of with the headset on?
Out of the mouth occasionally. And when we did stunts, there was little slits sometimes in the neck. So like that's kind of a stunt head right there. So I do have full vision when I'm not like tipping my head down like that. But for the most part, the visibility was not great.
And so yeah. And how many hours a day are you wearing this?
I'm in the suit pretty much every single day, up until probably either before the backpipes or with the backpipes with the chest on. But so yeah, I was in the full scuba. I call it the scuba, the full suit for most every day. Because the thing is with Fede, like he wanted to do he would use different things for different scenes, and sometimes they would change really quick, so you always had to be ready to go, right? Yeah, there's a great shot right there without the tail. Oh, and then I had a tail when was needed. They would just tie it onto the back of the suit pretty much.
And and being in there, being in that in that suit and being part of it, on set, knowing that you are going to be part of this incredible franchise. What's that feeling like for that? Like, as far as did you I mean, once you got that role, you get the role of the Xenomorph, you go there on set, like, how does it feel to walk out onto that one?
Oh, I mean, it's still surreal to this point. Even like now that the film is out and people are seeing it, I'm seeing those pictures all over the internet. I'm like, hey, that's me under there, right?
Right.
But I think that the fact is, like, you had so many people that truly wanted to honor the Alien franchise. Like Fede loves the Alien franchise. Then you had Legacy Effects doing the Xenomorphs. You had Alec Gillis and Studio Gillis doing the Chest Burster and other things. And then you had Weta Digital doing the Facehuggers, which are like three powerhouses in the world of like creature and special effects and things like that. So just being a part of a film that truly the director and everybody involved loved the franchise so much that they wanted to honor and do kind of back to what Alien and Aliens made people love it so much for was I think the coolest part for me.
For the acting side of thing, for the acting side of that, what do you have to go through to try to mimic, a Xenomorph? Like, what do you study some of the other films and just how they moved? Did you have somebody coaching you on how to do that? Like, how does that work?
So yeah, so I worked with Legacy Effects on the movement. I went in for a couple different tests, but I also did a lot of research on past suit performers like Balaji Badejo from the first film, Tom Woodruff Jr., who was in the suit for a number of films, Goran, who was in it for Covenant, and I watched their movements, and I wanted to take some things from what they did, but also make it my own at the same time. And Fede also had directions that he wanted to go with the Xenomorph as well. So, but yeah, so a combination of all those things is kind of how I built the movement that was seen in the film. And what's really cool is even the CGI aliens or Xenomorphs in the film are modeled after my movement. So even though it's not me, like ILM took my movements and turned all those Xenomorphs into how I moved, which was really cool.
That's amazing. Now that you're seeing yourself on screen, everybody else is seeing this movie out there, for you, getting to tell people that you're the Xenomorph, that is you. Even your movements, I think that's great. Even the CGI side of things, how has that been for you? Now that you're out there on
it's been wild. It's been really cool. I've gotten a lot of really kind, sweet messages from people all over the world, and you know, just so much love for not just, you know, what I've done, but for the film in general, which I think is so cool because like Prey did for Predator, I'm hoping Romulus, which it seems like it's doing, kind of revitalizes the Alien franchise as well and allows us to make more Alien films because it's a franchise that's super fun, you know, with Ridley Scott and H.R. Giger, who kind of, you know, facilitated and created the whole franchise. It's cool to see that people are so excited about this new film and how much it, you know, pays an homage to what the originals did and what made them so good.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that does seem to be what it's doing, and you know, just the fact that you get to be doing that for the costume side of things, for wearing those. What is the hardest part of that job?
The head.
The head.
The head, yeah, because you know it weighed. I don't know how much it actually weighed, but inside of the head, you know, you have all these servos, so you're getting, you know, all these different. I can't hear a thing when cameras are rolling, right? Because you know the mouth is moving, the lips are moving, the head's moving around, so it's just you know the whole time. I would say though that, and also not crashing the head into the back pipes because you know with that big old elongated head, you have those pipes sticking out, and you have to be very cautious about when you're turning your head not to smack into the things behind you because you know the Xenomorph is slick and good at its moves and not, you know, clumsy and bumping into everything. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I think the biggest thing was definitely just like getting used to the weight of the head and getting used to the movement of the head and everything. But otherwise, the suit was really, really nice. Like, you know, Legacy Effects, everybody took really good care of me and, you know, made sure I was safe and you know, even when we were doing some crazy stuff that everything turned out well. So I really appreciate them for keeping me keeping me good.
That's just so cool. And I think my final question is, you know, do you have, is there a dream character or a person that you would want to portray? If you,
Oh
I mean,
man.
yeah, you've been in the Alien franchise, you're in the Star Wars franchise. You know, there's other ones out there, but those are two big ones. Is there one that's a dream?
Oh, I mean, I've always been a big gamer, like playing video games. So I would love to do something in the video game universe. I don't think I have a specific character, but I would love to do something in the video game universe. But I mean, the Xenomorph, in regards to like creatures, like iconic creatures, I think it's pretty far up there on the list. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it's something in the video game world for sure would be awesome to do.
That opens up a lot of possibilities there too with the video game world. But I mean,
Oh yeah.
a Wookiee and a Xenomorph. I mean, that's pretty amazing right there. Well,
And more to come.
and more to, yeah, I'm sure again things you can't tell us that
Yep.
whatever the next Grogu secret is that you have contained right there. Oh man. Well, Trevor, thank you very much. You know, for having some time to talk to us because I mean this is just really fascinating. It's a world that you know nobody really knows. Nobody understands what that is, and you get to live it and share it with us, and I just really appreciate it. And man, yeah, congrats and thanks for being here with us.
No, thank you so much, Greg. I really appreciate it. It's fun to talk about now that I finally can talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see the film is doing so well because, you know, everyone put so much work into that. And that's to see that everyone's loving it as much as we loved it making it is so cool.
Well, actually, one more along those lines. How long did you have to keep this a secret?
Oh, we shot it last year. So about a year, about the same as Star Wars.
Man, that's hard. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's, you know, that's
well, yeah. And then, you know, you have all the trailers coming out. It's like, oh yeah, that's me in the trailer. And it's like, I can't say anything about it. So
like, oh yeah, no, I saw that trailer. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, oh, hey, that's me. But you know, but I'm glad I can finally talk about it now because it's a really fun thing. And like I said, it's just awesome to see how much love the film is getting.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you.
All right. So again, really interesting conversation there, getting to talk to somebody who is in the industry like that. I mean, that's something I had no clue about as far as how that works. So really, thank you to Trevor for joining us. And also thank you to Mary here from Fox 12 Oregon for that hookup on that. Really, really appreciate that too. All right, this is Fox 12 Now. We're live streaming here every weekday, and this is just an example of the wide range of topics that we do get to cover here on this show. Earlier today, we were talking about small businesses in Oregon with the U.S. Small Business Administrator. And that's another topic that you can go through and watch that video. You can go to the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel or kptv.com, click on the Fox 12 Now tab or the Fox 12 Oregon app. Please feel free to share these segments, go through, scroll through, and see if you find some that interest you, because every day it's, again, wide range of topics here. It's something different every single day with Fox 12 Now, and we get to do these longer, more in-depth interviews as well. So Thanks for joining us. We do appreciate you being a part of this show. And if there's breaking news anytime between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., this is also the place to go. I will be there with that news for you. But for right now, we'll take a break. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.